second worst in the last 60, 70 years. It's a really big deal. 12 million Syrians have lost their homes. That's more than half of the population of, around half the population of the Syrian people. The average Syrian now that is affected is living on about 30 pence per day. And if you imagine, the poverty line is $1 a day, so it's about 60, 70 pence a day is what the world agrees as the poverty line.
Welcome to the distribution depot where we can see tons and tons of flour behind us. I'm with brother Umar Ali from Human Appeal, the partnerships manager. And Umar, can you just recap on the story so far and like where we've come from?
Yeah, subhanAllah, it feels like just yesterday that we were here and we brought the first delegation of Green Lane Masjid brothers and from the task force GLM to this depot where we have a huge amount of flour. There are thousands of tons here, alhamdulillah. And I think everyone was so impressed and so dedicated towards the idea of providing the basic needs for a person to survive, which is bread, essentially. After speaking to the Syrian refugees who are here and some of the workers and assessing the needs, alhamdulillah, we are some months on and more than 3,000 tons worth, which is around 300, nearly 400 trucks worth of flour, which is just absolutely phenomenal. If you see the size of the trucks, you'll understand how many hundreds of thousands of people and how many millions of packs of bread will be produced from this fantastic work that inshallah, may Allah accept, is going to really change a lot of lives.
So Umar, what's going on in the back at the moment? What we're doing here at the distribution depot?
So right now we're just packing the trucks to deliver 1,000 tons. There are more than 3,000 tons which are going to be going, but right now it's 1,000 tons which are just going to be leaving the depot with the flour. Each truck has 25 tons in it, and they will be driving to the Syrian border where they hand over to the other, to the drivers on the other side, and they drive it in.
Look around us, guys. Alhamdulillah, we have finally made it. We are just overwhelmed with emotion. 40 trucks have lined up, subhanallah. Each truck will contain so much flour. We're talking about 1,000 tons of flour that will be going out to how many Syrian people this month? 6 million Syrian people, inshallah. The flour will be loaded onto these trucks, and if you look behind me, we are extremely close to the Syrian border. If you look behind me over that mountain there, that's where our Syrian brothers and sisters need all this help and support. These trucks that you can see around me, 40 trucks, will be loaded with flour, the staple diet of the Syrian people. This, remember, is all that they asked for. They said we don't need anything else apart from bread, and inshallah over the course of the next 3 months until December, we are going to be sending and dispatching trucks full of, subhanallah, flour that will be giving all our Muslim brothers and sisters so much provision. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you so much reward for all the hard work that you have done, subhanallah, putting a smile on the faces of the Syrian people.
Arrived at the bakery. I'm going to take you inside and show you the process. We've sent news that the flour that you guys donated and saw yesterday in the vlogs, alhamdulillah, has actually arrived here. We're going to go inside and see how it's turned into bread. Come on in. So this process is really simple. Basically, the flour comes in, put into this hole here, and then I'm going to walk you around, inshallah, and explain the whole process. Yes, over here. So this is the atta, or the flour, okay? It comes into here, basically, gets split up into sections, and then gets thrown into this machine. Obviously it's mixed in here, and then it comes out tiny little, whatever they're called, right? Through the machine, it's going to go all the way around, and it will come out the way around on this conveyor belt, right the way down to here. You can then see coming down from the conveyor belts, comes to these guys pack it up. Once it's packed, it's put onto trucks, transported directly into Syria, and then distributed completely free of charge to the Syrian refugees. So this operation is a result of the donation of you guys. And we said to you at the time that we start a project, and we've seen it right through to the end. Alhamdulillah, we collected the funds, we raised enough money for the flour, and today we're here in Turkey on the Syrian border, mashallah, watching the bread be produced. And we're actually going to go out and physically hand out the bread, inshallah, to the Syrian refugees. And we couldn't have done this without you. For those of you who've been following us, on the first day, alhamdulillah, 40 trucks full of flour to make the bread went into Syria. Today is our final day, so we thought we'd take the opportunity to visit some poor people and give them the bread. If you can have a look, each pack contains 10 pieces of bread, and here's a poor family we are going to give them. And thank you all for everybody who donated generously. I just wanted to capture the delight on their faces when they receive it. Okay. See how happy this lady is, subhanallah. This means so much, and this is one of so many families. Imagine feeding 6 million meals, 6 million people just this month. Subhanallah, may Allah reward all of you.
We're here at we're in Rehabilitation. I'm a bit speechless. SubhanAllah. We've just come to a sister's house, and if Brother Shwat can just go around and we'll just show you what a house for a refugee coming into Turkey is like at the moment. This is a house for 5 people, probably more. As you can see, the kids are playing around. They're really happy. They've just got some sweets from us as well. She's been here for a year, lost her husband in the atrocities over in Syria. She's bringing up 5 children. Her oldest son, subhanAllah, is 11 years old. Has had to leave his education and go to earn money. And she tells us that he earns 70 Turkish lira per month. So we're divide that by 4 and work out the maths for yourself. We thought we would survive on that in a day. So coming here makes you actually realise that the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, and we should take heed from this message that we're putting out to you, that there's people out here that are suffering who are far worse than what we are, extremely far worse than what we are. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for these brothers and sisters here in Syria, who have come from Syria to Riyadh. Allah make it easy for them. So we've just come to some makeshift shelters for the Syrian refugees. These are basically buildings that you can see that are probably owned by locals, and these guys are probably charged rent to stay here. The facilities are, there's lots of brothers and sisters living in them. We're actually doing some food distribution. So I don't know, earlier on you saw a vlog with the items that were contained in the food distribution. And basically these parcels, inshallah, will be going to these families. So you can see the brothers and sisters here. SubhanAllah, we've come here, and the children and the families have come from absolutely everywhere, because I think they recognise the human appeal tops, so they know something's happening. So they're all coming here. We're giving out sweets, we're giving out food parcels. Inshallah, this will bring them comfort. It might be temporarily, but inshallah, we can only do our best. So you can see the children and the kids. The Syrian kids, the kids of Sham, subhanAllah, are absolutely beautiful. And brothers and sisters, that ultimately, these guys used to one day give zakat. They used to give zakat, and today they're eligible for zakat, subhanAllah. We're in Evenhurst Depot, and if you can see behind me these massive pots, they'll be used to cook 50,000 meals over a 12-hour shift for the Syrian brothers and sisters, the refugees that are in the camps. Here we can see a staple diet of it's like a lentil bean soup being cooked for them, and over there's like another soup being cooked. It's an amazing setup, mashallah. You can see here we've got some rice. So do you want to taste this rice? Are you fasting? No. I think it still needs to be cooked a little bit. Yeah, I like my rice soggy. Right. And no, it's actually a really impressive setup, mashallah. Very impressive. Can you imagine 50,000 meals per 12 hours through all these pots for the brothers and sisters who probably only have 1 or 2 meals a day, and they're being portions as well. So we're here at an orphanage, a house for 4 families, and all these little children you can see are all orphans from the war in Syria, and as you can see they've got big smiles on their faces because we're distributing sweets to them, and you can see they're that eager to eat them, they're not even taking the wrappers off. And this is a joy just a simple sweet can bring to them. It's a lot before and Brother Imran's getting absolutely swamped with kids. That's because he's got the most sweets in his hands, that's why. But you know what, just to see a smile on the kids' faces is just amazing. Alhamdulillah.
وطفوا دروعا حرة دون البنادق والقنابل نامت عيون صغارهم واستيقظت نار المعاول لا عاش قاتلهم ولا دامت له.
It's 1:40 in the morning and we've just gotten back we've just gotten back absolutely knackered from the Syrian border town where we had an amazing opportunity to knock on people's doors in the middle of the night and give them a tiny gesture from the Great Britain and people who have helped us fundraise. And we've come here, some people got a couple of hundred lira, a few got much more than that, and it was just humbling to see the conditions that they're living in, sleeping on, you know, rough floors and just knocking in the middle of the night, and it almost felt like we're a vessel just to answer the prayers that these people were making in the middle of the night. And it's an amazing experience to knock on someone's door and say, you know, here's this for you, just to make your life that tiny little bit easier for a day, or in some cases much more. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, it was a good experience. I believe that all the donations that everybody gave were given to the people, the right people. I know it was in the middle of the night, but I think because it was done in the middle of the night, it's just that extra bit special. People have gone to sleep, you know, not knowing where the next food, next, you know,
who's knocking on my door at half 12
in the
midnight. So,
and you know, it was just a good iman boost as well.
What type of people were you giving to?
We were giving to orphans,
all Syrian refugees, come over the border, and the whole towns, the whole town is just full of them. Just every house, and then the beautiful thing is you knock on one door and they say, oh please, you've got to give to my daughter who lives around the corner, you've got to give to my neighbours, and you know, and we've got no doubt that the money that we've given to them, they can share it, and they'll share it with everyone and their neighbours, and inshallah.
So Jazakallah khair to all who donated. We've done our best in giving it to you know, the most needy, and inshallah Allah give you jazaa for it as well.
Rehabilitation Centre. I'm sorry, it's a very emotional time. This is Brother Ibrahim, and these are his kids. Brother Ibrahim is blind, his 2 children are blind also. MashaAllah. Beautiful children. His wife is disabled. They're from Syria, they've come over the border to be looked after. This rehabilitation centre looks after quite a few families. We were here just earlier on distributing bread for them. Wallahi, you know what? We can't count our blessings enough for how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us in the UK. And to see brothers and sisters like this, and you know, these are our children, not nobody else's, they're our children. You know, we're going to be accountable for each children whether we've done the right thing for them. You know, may Allah bless his family.
We're trying to arrange for his family so he can come back to Syria and be with his sons. It's not easy.
Lost for words. Allah lost for words.
We've done some distributions, some distributions here.
Just to give you an idea of the rough living conditions that many of these poor, subhanAllah, families face, I just want you to follow me inside the house of these poor families. Assalamu alaikum. MashaAllah. And if you just come through, this is the living conditions of a family of perhaps 5 or 6 people. Look how small this room is. This is perhaps half the size of a standard room back in the UK. This is where they have to reside day in, day out, month in, month out, subhanAllah. Do what you can to support, and like I mentioned before, your donations have made an amazing difference to these people. We ask you, please remember them in your du'as. Jazakumullah khairan. And from all the people that we visited, this is perhaps one of the better houses, subhanAllah. There are people who are living in worse conditions than this, and again, please think about these people, remember them in your du'as, and do what you can, subhanAllah, and earn the ajr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. MashaAllah, as you can see, we are here in Rehabilitation, in a school within the Turkish border, subhanAllah. All these children that you can see here, once upon a time they all attended a school, and now they have nothing, no education apart from what is provided here. Things that you have seen on the board, etc. They have so many fond memories. We are going to be touring around, inshallah. Do you want to say anything to the people in Birmingham, in UK? Say assalamu alaikum. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. MashaAllah, so well behaved. Why can't we get kids like this in the UK? MashaAllah.
We've just come to a school in Turkey which is for Syrian children. This specific school holds 800 students. So what they do is they have 400 students in the day and 400 students, 400 girls, and then 400 boys in the afternoon. SubhanAllah, we're just coming through the school corridors, and we just noticed these paintings that have been painted or drawn by the Syrian children. I just want you guys to look at these pictures. It's amazing. They say your pictures can speak 1,000 words, but this picture here, as you can see, there's people that are getting shot, there's children that are running away from somebody with a gun and they're getting shot, and then obviously trying to get to a car, and then in the sky there's helicopters. There's something written in Arabic which is words to the effect of "Oh Allah, free Syria," and then obviously there's buildings and mountains, and I want to draw your attention to this one too, and subhanAllah, brothers and sisters, these paintings and pictures are drawn by children who are probably no older than kind of 8 years old, 8 or 9 years old, and some even younger. Okay, so there's helicopters or an aeroplane throwing missiles down on the children. There's the army, and this is actually in Syria, the Syrian army, and here you've got children that are dying, subhanAllah. And here there's a child holding a Free Syria flag, and buildings that are being burnt down. And there's many more examples all over the walls here. There's paintings which say Syria's crying, and it just gets you into the psyche of the children. And the really worrying thing is these are the children. These children have been rescued. These children are the ones that have escaped from Syria and are now being looked after in Turkey. So if their psyche is like this, and all, the last thing they can remember is people being blown up and killed, imagine the children that are still in Syria, subhanAllah. And this is an everyday reality for these children. We've just come into a little town to distribute some bread to the Syrian refugees. We've just come across this family, subhanAllah. We just came in initially just to give some bread. We didn't actually know what was inside. There's an elderly gentleman, I believe he's blind. There's an old lady here. She's looking after the both of them, and there's a gentleman, there's an older guy on the side. We can't really show you the picture because we'll expose him, but he's in a really bad state, subhanAllah. And this poor lady, who seems to be ill herself, is looking after the two of these. So inshallah, we just give them some bread, we just give them some whey. And the thing that shocks me is that there's thousands of families that behind the doors, inside, they may have people that are disabled, that are elderly, that need looking after. And this is the state of the people, and these are the lucky ones, wallahi, the ones in Turkey.
So Umar, just on a final note, you've worked quite closely with us on this project. Can you give us a few words about our congregation and our community?
Alhamdulillah, honestly, I think it's the most blessed. There is no mosque like Green Lane Masjid, absolutely you know, I would say, without offending anyone else, you know, I think the achievement of around £900,000 for this bread project is a clear sign that only a community which is as united, as driven, as organized, as sincere as the congregation of Green Lane could achieve something, you know, anywhere close to that. So it's phenomenal, and it's been the greatest pleasure to work alongside and visit and be part of this journey with the brothers and sisters of Green Lane Mosque.
Likewise, Jazakallah khair.
Just coming back, for those of you following us on Facebook, Alhamdulillah, we've arrived safely by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's been just over 2 hours, Alhamdulillah. It feels really surreal for all the brothers now experiencing this feeling of not being there, helping out the poor orphans, the widows, all the people in Syria. We're back to normality here, back in the UK. But we must always remember that these poor Syrian people constantly need our help and support, and we must try our best to do what we can to support them until we leave the dunya, inshallah. Whatever little we can do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves consistency, giving things regularly. There is more barakah and khair in this. And again, we'd like to thank everybody who donated to this wonderful cause. You know, it was really a record that was set by the masjid. As Human Appeal mentioned, that they have never come across any organisation that has raised this much amount, you know, close to £1 million. This is your support. But again, this could just the beginning of how the community can come together and help and support the Muslims, no matter what part of the world they're suffering from. This is something that Green Lane Masjid is going to continue doing. Jazakallah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.